we still have some of our folks that are out and about and on vacation. So just praying for them and that they enjoy it. We had a wonderful trip last week. Just thank you to our church family for being so gracious and letting Bobby and David leave at the same time, right? Oh, it was not a vacation. We took our 3 grandkids, 6, 5, and 2. And we cleaned up a bloody nose. This is all within 24 hours. Some of you see my Facebook post. We cleaned up a bloody nose. I administered the Heimlich maneuver and saved a child from jumping into the pool without a life jacket with a toddler on my hip. So we are glad to be back. We are glad to be back. I'm going to kind of go out of order just a little bit for announcements, and I'm going to be brief. I know I'm not making any apologies for running behind because I love being in the presence of the Lord and seeing what He does, and so no apologies there. But it is 11:34, so I'm going to try and be as brief as possible. But some important things. So Friday we are having a fish fry fundraiser. It will be at the community building at the Memorial Park, and this is for our food distribution outreach. If you're not real familiar, we serve between 600 and 800 families every other week. Kevin and Jenny, his wife, work really hard with that ministry. It is the most impactful thing that Hope Hornwall does, and honestly, we're just glad to be part of it and let Kevin do what he does and feed people and keep families with food in their pantries and in their bellies. But it does cost a lot of money for us to run that outreach. I don't have my numbers yet for this fiscal year. We're not out, but I can tell you last fiscal year we were like negative 40,000 if you look at how much is actually earmarked for the distribution. So that means that other money comes from general fund. And so it just makes sense for us to do a fundraiser, because if you don't know there's a need, then you're probably not going to be, you're not going to know to give, right? So this is an easy way, really quickly. Whether you're friends with me or not on Facebook, if you're not, please send me a request, and I would love to be your friend. But my profile is public. It's Tanya Long Woodward. If you'll go to it, you can go to it right now. I'll give you permission to get on your phones. You can go to it right now at the very top of my page. It is pinned where the fish fry is, and you can just share it from there. If you'll share it, if everyone here that has a Facebook account shares it, that's like a bunch of shares where people sees that the fish fry is happening. If you would like to buy a ticket, you can buy it from that link. It's $15. You get fish, hush puppies, fry, slaw, dessert, and drink. My husband and I went to Casa last night. It's one of our favorite places to eat. And we didn't get dessert, but we got food and a drink. And before tip, it was $35. So I think $15 is kind of a deal these days. So go ahead and if you want to buy a ticket in person today, I have them. You can write a check or give me cash. Or if you want to buy at the door, you can. Now, something else, if you would be willing to make a cobbler for Friday, that's part of our dessert. If you're able to make a cobbler, we have most of the ingredients that we can get to you this week. If you would just bake it for us. So if you're interested in that, I won't put you on the spot right now. Okay, Marilyn's all about it. But I won't put you on the spot right now. But see me right after church, and I'll get your information, how I can get in touch with you if I don't already know, and we will get you those ingredients so you can help us with that. Healing School is today at 5, so they're excited to be back in the saddle for that. I know tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock prayer at City Hall. Monday night, tomorrow night is men's Bible study here at 6. If you can be part of that. And then Tuesday night prayer service is here at 6 o'clock. Wednesday service starts at 7. For all classes, no dinner for the summer, but we do have classes. I told you what's going on Friday. I'm not sure about Just for Kicks schedule. If you're a part of that, you probably know better than me. Anything Saturday? No? Okay. Summer camp does start tomorrow, so be in prayer for us. If you've seen great decorations, thank you, Angel. I know you had a hand in that. Thank you so much. And we do believe that every child that walks in these doors is God's masterpiece. So be in prayer over them and over our staff. We have 18 staff this summer, so there's a lot of us to pray over, and a bunch of kids. So anything else that I've not announced? I know Sunday morning at 9 will be prayer in the old sanctuary. Anything else? Okay, I'm going to pass it on to Bobby.
This is getting interesting. All right. I am tore up. I don't know that I need to preach. I guess we're going to do this for the live people, because we have all heard what I'm about to say this morning in a different way, in a different form. I was so excited to preach this, and then I sat here and watched God manifest it. I named the title of my message, What I See. Sometimes I don't think people see exactly what I see. All right, so I'm going to jump right into this. It's been if we could bottle this up and send it out of here, it wouldn't just be our community. It would be the United States would be changed if they saw what went on here this morning. I go ahead and tell you, the voices of yelling about God is everything was like a beautiful scented oil raising up out of this house into the heavens to a Father that loves his children. And when you understand, when you catch that in your spirit, and you see that in your spirit, what it does, it's like David was talking about, it awakens something inside of you that you cannot get away from. You cannot walk away from. You cannot put it away. You can't. Have you ever had something you just couldn't? You were so excited about you couldn't put it to the side. That's what this morning brought in my heart and my spirit. I had no idea what was about to happen, and then all of a sudden, the praises that went up to our Father just. I'm sitting up there in tears. Neil's sitting there, oh, you got to hear this, because he's running the sound. He's like, listen how good this sounds. I'm like, dude, I'm tore up. Just keep the headphones over there. I'm in a place right now where I can't hear anything but just the joy of the Lord just running through my spirit and how excited I was. And so I'm going to try to preach this, but I don't know how long. I'll probably end up missing a few things, but it's okay. But what I wanted to preach about is what I see. We're going to jump over in Ephesians chapter 4. Now, all right, I need to start this off. I need to kick back a little bit, do a proper intro, right? Do a proper Woodward intro. We went on vacation last week. I don't know if the Brewers realized this past week. They might have come into a new understanding, I think, at the beach. A redheaded, fair-skinned child and the sun. Those two things tend to be a problem when they try to mingle for long periods of time, okay? All you nice brown hair, blonde hair, able to tan people, can receive color from the sun and all this on your skin, and you're like, I can't wait for warm days where I can lay out and I can get my tan and my skin looks better and my tone looks better and all this. That don't happen. All right. If y'all don't believe me, I could take off my socks and shoes and show you the new freckles I have on my feet that have never been there before, and my ankles. I mean, there's these little brown spots that I'm almost 50 years old, and these brown spots have not been there before. And I'm sitting here. It's not aging. It's me. I spent more time out in the sun with the grandkids than I normally did, and the sunscreen is not working like it used to. Okay. So anyway, I went on vacation. All right, it was a great time, though. Spending time with the grandbabies was amazing. I will say that. I'm always don't look forward to vacation, but afterwards I look back and it's like, this has been pretty good. Then I realized Tanya did all the work, and no wonder it was good, right? She's the one cooking. She's the one getting the grandbabies' clothes together, all this other stuff. I'm just like, all right, come on, kids. You know, like, what did you do? But take them to the car, you know, or take them to the pool. But anyway, it is. It's the truth. I mean, it's like, so vacation was actually pretty good in the long run, but still the sun and the freckles are something. Yeah, I looked down this morning and I saw her and I was like, I wonder if the Brewers experienced the redhead. You're going to have to leave her with Chad from now on if you're going to the beach, right? Yeah, let Uncle Chad take care of it. Anyway, all right, I'm going to get off that. Ephesians chapter 4, I'm going to start in verse 1. I want y'all to take in consideration what's been said this morning, what's been spoken into your lives, into your hearts. That is, and we'll get into some verses here. I'm just going to start reading. I, therefore, as Paul, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you to walk worthy of the calling which you were called, with all lowliness and gentleness, with long-suffering, bearing with one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called in one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. All right? Take in consideration what you've heard this morning and what words are being spoke to you now. Verse 1, walk worthy of the calling. Do you realize that you were called and you have a calling? Colossians 2:6 says, you received, therefore walk in him. You have been called, and y'all, if Charlie's trying to get stuff up, Charlie's never done this before. This is another thing I need to say. Dad, thank you so much. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you so much for the words this way. When we carried a church service out last week, that was a miracle. For a church to be this deep and rooted in God's word and people that are able to minister, that's amazing for how many people were going here. Most churches would have shut down and said, no, we'll do it next Sunday, right? All right. So now we've got the other half of the team is done taking off. Where's Jimmy, Alaska? Yeah, he's out bear hunting, I guess, something like that. So you out bear hunting. Yeah, and you're going to go follow up and see if you can find a berry shot, right? Here in a little while. But anyway, Jimmy's off, and we got quite a few people out, and Christian's out, so all the backup. So we got poor Charlie's up there. He's got his hand up like he's got this all together. This is what's funny. He's got it all together. So we're going to see how this morning goes. So you're live. If a verse pops up and I'm not speaking that verse, don't worry about it. Just read that verse. It might make more sense than what I'm saying anyway, all right? So anyway, verse 1, it says that you have a calling, right? And when you recognize that you have a calling, just as it said in Colossians 2:6, that you received him, now walk in him. When we recognize that we have a calling, that brings forth action. If your salvation did not bring forth action in your life, then what was your salvation for? Was it your rescue? Was that it? Did it stop at being rescued, right? A lot of times, I know in my life, when I look back at my salvation, I think how far I've come from there, but also think how much God has called me to from there. In my daily life, in my daily walk, I think about how much I used to read the Bible when it wasn't that necessary in my heart, and then all of a sudden how a desire in my heart for more of the Word and more knowledge of the Word came in that. And so from that day on, you have a calling, you have been called. From that point, you need to recognize changes everything in your mindset about the way, where you're going and what you're going to do. Because once you realize that you have a calling and you've been called, then if you don't go to your calling, if you try to joan it and jump out of the way from your calling, if you try to run from your calling, if you try to ignore your calling, and you just try to play church, everything becomes minute about God, and everything that he has for you is not able to get to you, because basically you've built a wall between you and him, right? Now, I know that these verses that I just read to you when I stopped, what was that, the rest of 2 through 6 is basically unity verses. I find it interesting how many pastors will preach a unity message to a congregation, yet if the congregation tries to unify with anybody outside, they shut it down. I go and tell you, in this house, we are bigger and better because of God and thinking that what he gives us is limited to right here. If I see you talking to another member of another church, praise God. Hug them, love them, minister to them, endure with them, pray with them, encourage them, lift them up, and do not tear them down by anything that their religion may believe. But we need to become bigger than what American-made religion has become in this country. Because you can't preach unity and then tell your church not to unify. I mean, it's common sense, and I don't. Whoever's listening to his life, if this offends you, if this offends a person, I do not mean this by offense. It's just that I know my God is bigger than the names and the things that we put on these church houses and that we claim as righteousness. It is His righteousness. It's not our denomination righteousness. It's not the name on the front of this building righteousness. It's not the pastor righteousness. It is God's righteousness that sets a precedence over your life. And if you are willing to receive that, once you know you have a calling, and then you become unity, right? So it says for the body to unify. And think about what you heard this morning. We are to assemble together, right? I love this house, okay? I love the people. I love the people that I worship with. I love the people that I walk with in this thing. I love the ministers that sit with me. I love the ministers that He has set before me. I love the men's group, that what we get out of it, what we're going to get out of it, what's going on there. I love when the women cook on Sunday afternoons every quarter. You can't beat that meal. I'll go ahead and tell you. I love this church. I love this house, and I love where it's going, right? And the unity that is preached in these next few verses right here, I see directly in this house. And I understand that y'all know that it's bigger than us. You want to understand how I know? Because what I see and what I saw this morning was nothing but people exclaiming how big God is in their lives. When you yelled out how big God is and how He's your everything. And so I want to pick up in verse 7, because right after He tells us that we are one body, we are one spirit, just as you were called up for one hope on your calling, one Lord, one faith, and one baptism. Then verse 7, this is where it gets personal. But to each one of us, grace was given according to measure, right? And I'm going to keep on reading here. Hopefully, so Charlie, I don't confuse Charlie on skipping back and forth. I'm just going to keep on reading a few verses. But to each one of us, grace is given according to the measure of Christ's gift. Therefore, He says, when He ascended on high, He led captivity captive and gave gifts to men. Now He ascended. What does it mean but that He also first descended into the lower parts of earth? He was with us. He who descended is also the one who ascended far above all heavens, that He might fill all things. And He Himself gave some to be apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors and teachers for the equipping of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ, till we all come to the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, to a perfect man, to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. All right, I'm going to stop right there. 1 Corinthians, Charlie, you don't have to go there. 1 Corinthians basically follows right along with this line in chapter 12, and I'm going to start in verse 4. It says, there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. There are differences of ministries, but the same Lord, and the diversities of activities, but it is the same God, who works all in all. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to each one for the profit of all. And for one is given the word of wisdom through the Spirit, to another the word of knowledge, and through the same Spirit, that to another faith by the same Spirit, to another gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the workings of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another different kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues. But one and the same Spirit works all these things, distributing to each one individually as He wills. And I know in the journey group we had to do, or we didn't have to do, but we did a spiritual gift test, all right? I found it unique. It wasn't that big of one. It wasn't, no big deal, but I flipped it around. In the first spiritual gift test we did, we were supposed to go what was going on in our lives, okay? And so my spiritual gift test at the time looked pretty good because I was transitioning out of the workforce into the ministry. And so my full time, you see what I'm saying? My full time was about to become constantly in ministry, right? That looks a whole lot easier for somebody that's working an 8 to 5 and doesn't have much time in the evenings because they're taking care of kids. And then, you see what I'm saying? When they take the test, their answers are going to be a little bit different. So what I did is we did a retreat at the end, and I told the guys, I gave them another clean sheet of paper, and I said, okay, now I want you to take the spiritual gift test, and I want you to do what's in your heart, the way you feel, not what you're doing. What I want you to do is write down on your scale, and gave you a little scale of numbers. And, of course, you add up the numbers, and it gives you this, 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 and this. Here's what I found amazing about it. Every one of them that did this, only one thing was different out of their top 3 gifts. And it usually fell from second to fourth. Every one of them. In other words, what God had implanted in them, even though they couldn't necessarily operate in it, they were trying to operate in it in the time that they had. And if they had more time, it would just increase. I want you to think about that this morning. If you had more time to give to the Lord, would what you do increase, right? We want to say we want to do more. We want to say we want to act more. We want to say, and I'm going a little bit off of my page right here. We want to say that we want to do more for God, but the main thing what we don't give Him is time. And a lot of times the reason we don't do that is because of what we see, right? What we see. It becomes overwhelming. So 1 Corinthians 12 is basically lined up. It's following. So if you're in Ephesians 4, 1 Corinthians 12 is basically Paul, just to give into another verse. You can sort of line that up there. But diversity in those scriptures does not mean to separate. See, when they told you this morning we are to be a body, we are to be unified, we are to come together, that is to edify each other. That is to build up each other. And the diversity and the differences that I see in this house are not meant to separate us from each other. Tonight at 5 o'clock, they're going to have a healing teaching right here. This same room. Charlie, you're probably using this same mic, right? Yeah, all right, we got the same mic. I don't know if they use the background. I know sometimes they used to do during worship. They used to do, the same speakers are going to be explaining noise, right? They're going to have noise coming through. It is not different, but yet it is different than this Sunday morning service. But we're going to have a healing service here tonight. So if it's something you want to learn, you want to be taught, I guarantee you what's coming out of this house will edify you. You want to know why? It is part of this house. It is part of the same Spirit. It's part of the same God, the same body, but it's coming out this evening. And when we realize that our differences, right? Isaiah, you up here on this keyboard. I can't go hit those buttons, right? Yeah, well, I can. They just won't sound like that, right? We're just going to get an uglier sound. You're doing something different than I'm doing, right? But in that background, while we're sitting there and Charlie's sitting up here saying something, or David's up here talking, that is building, that is edifying the body, right? The differences. Tanya, you and Hope. Nobody wants to put up with 100 kids on a daily basis. Most people are good with 3, right? But not 100 in different ages, right? But Hope sits there and ministers to over 100 kids. What do you got, 180 signed up right now? There's no room in the inn. There's no room. But do you see what I'm saying? But she's not meant to separate herself from the church. She's not separate from this body. The people that go there and work there and the volunteers, they're not different. I mean, they're different, but they're not a division. They're what edifies us. They're what builds us up. When we see miracles, when we see healing, all that brings us together. And what I see in a lot of churches is that we're leaving out ministering opportunities because we're telling people if they don't connect or if they try to connect with something that's different than us, then we can't have that here. Is that making sense? I don't know what's in your heart today, but I'm going to try to preach on for you to overcome what you see. Because what I see looks like more like Ephesians 4, where he's given some of them to be apostles, some of them to be evangelists, some of them to be pastors and teachers, for the equipping of the saints. That's what I see. I see a room full of ministers and ministries that are designed and developed and are being equipped to minister to the deepest needs of our community. It's what David had that came in 2009 with the vision that still hasn't left. If you go back and read that, it is exactly what I'm seeing come full fold here this morning. And before this morning, I see your uniqueness and I see your difference. I understand that who you can minister to is different than who I can minister to. You have a heart that can go to a homeless, hurting woman and can speak healing into her life through the power that God has given you. And she might hear some words from me, but she'll never have that personal touch that God has placed in your life. And if I try to hold you back from ministering to that person because they don't walk inside this building, then what I have done is I've divided the body, and I need to quit preaching about unity. Instead, what I need to do is empower you and equip you with what you need, that not only can you catch one, but that you can catch hundreds. And they can see the love of God on your life. And it's but us. It's all about us. And if we do not recognize, and if we do not wake up to what, and the only thing that we see is something bigger than us out there, then we will sit on this side of the river and never cross into the purpose that He has for our lives. What I see, I love what I see. What I see is a unique group of people being brought together by one Lord, and He is building us up. He is constantly building us up. And I go and tell you, that's why I'm overwhelmed by what Josh did. Josh calling out, speak what God has done for you. When he calls that out, what he's doing is he's edifying the body. That's a calling from God that says, sit there and speak who I am to you, right? All right, so pick back up. Charlie, I'm back in Ephesians. I don't know if you're there, but I'm going to start back in 14. You ready? Yeah. Look, it's up there. I got you. He's probably better at it than I am. That we should no longer be children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine by trickery of men and the cunning craftiness and deceitful plotting, but speaking the truth in love may grow up in all things into Him who is the head, from whom the whole body joined and knit together by what every joint supplies, according to the effective working by which every part does its share, causes growth of the body and edifying itself in love. And before I get in to the rest of this sermon, I want to tell you this. I see a body of believers that are edifying each other in mighty ways. If you come out of this service and you think that I don't see the unity and the love and the building up that I see here on a weekly and daily basis in this house, that's not my intentions this morning. It's just that I think that some people are not seeing their full potential in Christ, and they're sitting back and they're holding back because they're scared, because they don't want to move forward in what God has told them and what God has called them to. They want to sit back. So we're going to go back. We're going to go old school on this for me to bring this in. Well, let me write down what no, I'm not going to read that. I'm going to skip over that one. All right. Let's go to Numbers. One of my favorite stories. One of probably the most preached out of stories. Well, maybe not most, but very common. Y'all know this. If anybody went to church for any amount of time, the only thing that's going to scare y'all about this is that I'm actually going to read some verses that have some names in them. So go ahead and grit your teeth. It's okay. I did listen to it about 20 times to try to make sure I get the names right, but I probably will still mess a few of them up. It's okay. As long as I don't mess them too bad up, we'll be all right, right? I'll act like I know them, and we'll just go from there. All right, I'm going to start in 13. This is going to be Numbers 13, and I'm just going to start, and we're just going to read a little bit. Ooh, okay. Yeah, we're going to read fast. Numbers 13, verse 1. Yep. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Send men to spy out the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the children of Israel. From each tribe of their fathers you shall send a man, every one a leader among them. You can leave it up, Charlie. I'm just going to say something real fast. A lot of this, look at spy out the land, as this being a weaponized, go and look and see how strong they are, because we're going to have to fight them. But in this term, it actually means just go out and gather a report. It's not a military type word, the word translated there. It's more of a go out and wonder, okay? He's going to tell them what he wants them to see later on, but what I want you to do, so when he sends spies out, so anyway, picking it back up, this is verse 3. So Moses sent them from the wilderness of Paran, according to the command of the Lord, all of them men who were heads of the children of Israel. Now these were the names. This is where people are gritting their teeth. This is where my family's like, oh Lord, Bobby, don't do this. Just skip over this and go down, but it's okay. Now these were the names from the tribe of Reuben: Shemuah the son of Zachar. The tribe of Simeon, Shaphat the son of Hori. The tribe of Judah, Caleb the son of Jephunneh. The tribe of Issachar, I know Tanya is in just, y'all gonna see her shoulder shrugging here in a second. From the tribe of Issachar, Igal the son of Joseph. From the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea the son of Nun. And from the tribe of Benjamin, Paltai the son of Raphu. From the tribe of Zebulun, yep, that's got me, Gadiel the son of Sodai. And the tribe of Joseph, that is from the tribe of Manasseh, Gadai the son of Suzai. And the tribe of Dan, Amiel the son of Gamali. And from the tribe of Asher, Sether the son of Michael. And from the tribe of Naphtali, it's okay, Dad, you can tell me, Nabai the son of Vosai. And from the tribe of Gad, Gil the son of Machi. These are the names of the... We ain't done yet. These are the names of the men of Moses sent to spy out the land. And Moses called Hoshea the son of Nun, Joshua. I want y'all to get that, because Hoshea actually is translated he saves. All right? So if you don't know what Joshua stands for, he saves. All right? So anyway, then Moses sent to spy out the land of Canaan, and he said to them, go up this way in the south and go up into the mountains and see what the land is like, whether the people who dwell in it are strong or weak, few or many, whether the land they dwell in is good or bad, whether the cities inhabit are like camps or strongholds, whether the land is rich or poor, and whether there are forests there or not. I'm going to be of good courage and bring some of the fruit of the land. Now the time of the season was the season of the first ripe grapes. Salvation. I wish we had a question for people. Now go and tell me what God is like now that you're saved. Now that you've accepted Christ, I want you to read this word, and I want you to come back with a report. And here's what I want you to tell me. Tell me, is he good or bad? Tell me, is he weak or strong? Tell me, is he fruitful in your life? Or if there's no fruit? Tell me what he's like. Moses, I think this was more of an encouragement for the people than what happened with it being a discouragement to the people. I think he sent the spies into the land to go see what God was giving them. And in your salvation, if you could realize that God wants you to seek him out and see his goodness, it would change your mind and change your mindset on what you see. It really would wake us up if we started questioning, God, is this? And so now you know why I'm so tore up upstairs. When you told them, yell out why God is everything. Because when I get a picture of what he's done in my life, he's not just good, he's great. When I get a picture of what he's brought me to, it's just not common. It's a miracle. When I get a picture of what he has ahead of me, it is not just wonderful, it is breathtaking. Because he is so good. It amazes me how in my worst times, his mercy and grace still is willing to pick me up and to hold me. In that line, there's some lines in that song that I sit there, I wish I could pull it back up, but it's okay. I'm not going to have Charlie do that. You just stay on the Bible, Charlie. We good. In that song, but I'm just sitting there thinking, Dad, the one thing I thought of is, and I don't give Mom credit here because she prayed probably a whole lot harder than Dad did, and honestly, when I was on drugs and out there in La La Land. But when I got in Jackson, the first time we saw each other after me going into rehab, we were visiting our church in Jackson, Tennessee. He left his congregation in Henderson and didn't preach that Sunday morning so he could come see me at the church we were attending to in Jackson. And I remember running to his arms and hugging him in tears and telling him I'm sorry. And I thank God for that moment, because I see God with arms wide open saying, come to me. I've loved you this whole time. I've seen you at your best. I've seen you at your worst. I've seen you in your doubt. I've seen you in your fear. I've seen you when you had nothing. I've seen you when you've had everything. And I'm here to tell you, God is still here with open arms, willing to welcome you in no matter where you are at today, no matter what you've done. The Spirit of God has nothing but love and wants nothing but for abundance for your life if you're willing to see what I see. Does that make sense, folks? And so I'm going to pick it back up. I don't even know where I stopped. Okay, verse 21. So they went up and they spied out the land from the wilderness of Zin as far as from Rehob near the entrance of Hamath. And they went up through the south and they came to Hebron. Ahiman, Shishai, and Talmai, the descendants of Anak. I told you we weren't done. Were there. Anak were there. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. And then they came to the valley of Eshcol, and they were cut down a branch with one of the clusters of grapes. They carried it between two of them on a pole, and they said they also brought some of the I'm letting Dad. Pomegranates. I know that word, Dad. It's okay. And figs. It's the names I'm worried about, not what they're bringing back. The place was called the Valley of Eshcol because of the cluster which the men of Israel cut down there. And they returned from spying out the land after 40 days. Now they departed and came back to Moses and Aaron, all the congregation of the children of Israel, in the wilderness of Paran and at Kadesh. I want y'all to notice, they were in the wilderness for 40 days, right? They're in the land of promise for 40 days. This wasn't just a quick trip through. This wasn't just a jog, like, hey, we're going to go make a round trip and then we're coming back. But they were in there for 40 days, and 12 of them are sitting there looking, and they're all seeing the same things, right? All right. So they brought back word to them, to all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. And then they told them and said, we went to the land where this is, and it truly flows with milk and honey. And this is its fruits. All right. So we're all fine right now. Milk and honey is the symbol of abundance. All right. So in God, there's abundance. That's what I said earlier. I wish I could go and if you could picture your salvation as a whole lot more than just a rescue, and realize it's a promise and a calling that is going to bring you to a life where you can yell out in front of a church, it's your joy. Even in the hard times, Lord, it's your joy. Thank you for your joy. No matter what's going on, it's your joy. You see what that kind of word is, how encouraging that is? And they're sitting there in the land, and so up to that point, we're all good. We got milk and honey, and this is its fruits. Nevertheless, the people who dwell in the land are strong. The cities are fortified and very large. Moreover, we saw descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the south. The Hittites and Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea along the banks of the Jordan. Now, check this out, because then Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, let us go at once and take possession, for we are able to overcome it. And if there's something I want to get through to you this morning you are able to overcome what is against you right outside those doors. If you're going to believe in what God has for you, if I cannot preach the New Testaments and the abundance and the life and the salvation and the victory you have in Jesus, I think is what Dad preached last week, wasn't it? Wasn't it victory? And we cannot preach victory if we sit there and say, well, the Jebusites, the Amalekites, and all these other people are too big for you. I'm going to tell you, the world has painted a picture that we need to accept, that acceptance is love, and that love is whatever it is. And without Christ being the head, and you can read that back in Ephesians 4, without Christ being the head, what you're crossing into and what your acceptance is and what your love is for people will be diminished, and it's perverse, it's perverted. And what the world has taught about love and all this other stuff is basically a perverted love, and they're trying to take God out of the situation. But when Christ is the head, when you can see Christ as the head and you're about to go into something that you think is big, if you think that the LGBTQ and whatever letters they want to put with it is too big for God to forgive and to love, you're crazy. I don't care what marches they have out there. I don't care anything about that, because I know people who come out of that community that have accepted God for who he is. They studied him out and realized the truth that he has, and realized the truth in the people that were willing to love them and not love their sin, and they walked out of that and said, I have something better than what the world can offer me. There is no difference in them and the drugs that are deceiving people that think they have to have it so they can make it to the next day. It is the same lie saying that this is the only way that you will ever be benefited, that you'll ever be loved, that you'll ever be encouraged. And what the church needs to do is stand up and say, no, that is a lie from the pit of hell, and we're not going to stand with it. We will stand with you. We will get you to a place where you can repent, but there is no room for sin in heaven. And there is no place for it at the altar. And if you're going to have a true relationship with Jesus Christ, we're going to have to cross over into something, but we're going to have to see a little bit something different. Because what Caleb does next, I'm going to quit reading word for word. What Caleb does next, this is to save time, what he does next is he sits there and looks at the people and he says, wait a second, we can overcome this. Quit sitting over here and talking about how strong they are. Quit telling me about how Fox News has told you that we are about to end all and get. I guarantee you, if it was vice versa and there was a different president, the other news media would do the same thing. All right, or it doesn't matter. Fox News telling you Biden was going to destroy everything. MSNBC telling you that Trump's going to destroy everything. It doesn't matter. God's not in it to destroy your life. You can either operate in that, and you can go connect with that, and you can sit there and carry that in your life. And if you want to seem miserable, then you go sit there and you live in that. But I'm sorry, I'm going to be like Caleb, and I'm going to be like Joshua, and I'm about to see something different in this land. I see a land that God is big enough, and that is he is with us. And it says that later on in 14. It says, in verse 8, and I'll actually read it. But I'm going to start verse 6. But Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, who were among those who had spied out the land, tore their clothes, and they spoke to all the congregation of Israel, saying, the land we passed through to spy out is exceedingly good land. Y'all check this out at verse 8. If the Lord delights in us, what do you think Jesus going to the cross was? If the Lord delights in us, I can tell you he delights in us. You want to know how I can tell you he delights in you? He was willing to go hang himself on a cross and die for you. That's how much he delights in you. And it says, if the Lord delights in us, then he will bring us to the land and give it to us, a land which flows with milk and honey. Only don't hold back, and I'm ad-libbing here, don't hold back against the Lord, nor fear the people in the land, for they are our bread. And what you need to realize is, what the world is telling you is too big for your life, is what God's telling you is your victory in your life. And what I see is a room full of people that are ready to start crossing over into something. It cost the generation 38 years from this time, 38 years from the time they'd sent spies out to the day the children of Israel behind Joshua and Caleb went too. No, he only went. He was full force into it. He's one of my favorite characters of the Bible. He's like a military man. Just give me a gun and let me go. I'll handle this. You know what I'm talking about? But What I'm saying is I see a church full of people, and we're all in this together. We're all diverse. We're all different. We all have different situations. There are different battles you're all facing, but we all have the same God. We all have the same Spirit that works in us. And in that one, we're all the same body. And in that oneness, we are starting to build ourselves up. And what's going to stop us is if we allow fear and doubt because of what's out there, if we think it's too big for what us. And I don't believe that's going on in a lot of our lives, but I believe it's in some. And I believe that we need more ministries coming out of this house. When God has appointed apostles, when God has appointed preachers and teachers, when God has appointed you to go into something in your calling and you're holding back over fear, don't let that happen, because we're with you. Not only are we with you, but we're here to support you, we're here to empower you, we're here to equip you. So don't hold back anymore. Realize that just like Joshua and Caleb, the enemy is not bigger than what you have inside right here. See that. I love y'all. Thank you. Thank you for obeying God this morning and doing that. And thank you, people, for expressing that out of your mouths, because you have no idea the encouragement that gives all of us. And that's what a church service is about. When I said this has already been preached, we didn't need anything past that. You don't need anything past that. But if you're sitting back and you're holding back, please stop, because we need you. This community needs you. It needs you to step into the purpose and the calling you have on your life. Heavenly Father, I thank you for this morning. I thank you for the word, the worship. I thank you for what Charlie brought out of Hebrews 10, out of what David brought, out of what Josh brought, right? Speaking how you are everything, Lord. We look to you for all. And Lord, help us not to step back in fear. Help our reports to be through your eyes and not our own. Help us to put you first in our lives, Lord, and not put you behind what we see. But Lord, let our eyes see what you see. I thank you for this body. I thank you for the people you have placed in my life that minister to me, Lord, that build me up. Let me be an encouragement to them. Let us build unity in this house, and out of this, help us to grow in knowledge and understanding of who you are. We love you and we praise you in Jesus'